Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Reviving Mississippi. I'm your host, DeKeither Stamps. We got our co-host, Mr. Jason Clark. What's going on, JC?
Man, I'm glad to be back in the place, man. Even though we had this weather, but it feels good to be back in the place today, Chief.
Good. It's been a long week. We've been working through it. It's been a long night.
Yes, it has been.
Our prayers go out to all the families who were negatively impacted by the storm. We've had a few fatalities. We had a lot of storm damages, trees falling on folks' houses. Mississippi, it is time to do what Mississippi does. We're always the first ones, even after Katrina. We were the first ones to get together and help our neighbor and help the folks in our community recover. This is what we do, is help each other. I've said for many years, Mississippi got the best folks in the whole world, and especially during times of tragedy. We can rise above our lower level differences to achieve what God wants us to achieve. Do right by folks and help folks out. So check your neighborhood out, call your family, and see who needs some help and reach a helping hand out. As we begin every show, we always say, please remember those folks who are going through bereavement. Bereavement is a very trying situation. It's always rough. And every week we lose people. I mean, every week, Jason, we lose folks out there. We got folks out there that think they're alone.
Yes, sir.
And they got cousins and first cousins and nephews and stuff. When somebody loses somebody, reach out to them. You know, don't just reach out to them when it's time to go to the funeral and go eat some chicken at the repast. Long after the chicken's over, the weeks and months later, you know, you still got to get over it. You still got to work through it. You never get over it, but you still got to work through it. And sometimes the grieving process takes years. You never miss losing a mother or losing a father. You never get over that. So just make sure you continue to reach out to folks long beyond the time that you have a funeral and those things. Years later, still be there for your friend. You got to be a friend so you can have a friend during your time of need. Our underwriters for today's show, Mr. Micheal Jordan Transportation Service. You can go to www.mjstransportation1.com for your transportation needs. He offers quality transportation service all over Mississippi. And he's a great community reinvestor. He's always investing in the community, trying to find ways to clean stuff up. So every time we have a tragedy, we always able to go out to Mr. Micheal Jordan because he's always trying to help somebody. Also, if you want some good food versus fast food, now I'm partial, and they don't pay me anything to promote them. Go to SuperBurgers and get you a whole cow between two pieces of bread that's tasted to the last drop. I like the lemon pepper fries. Jason liked that veggie burger, that whole garden between two pieces of bread.
Sweet potato fries.
Them sweet potato fries over there. That was Jason like. I like give me that big one. And I can't eat the whole thing. I only slice a piece of it off, and I take the rest of it home and make spaghetti. It's enough meat. Right. You can eat half, you can eat a fourth of that burger. And there's enough hamburger meat there to go home and make some spaghetti. But yeah, go and get some good food versus fast food. Right over on Dog Street where they always been. Jason, you got some opening remarks?
Well, not really too much. I know we got a couple of guests in the studio today, so I want to leave that time for them. But we go ahead and jump on into it.
Well, go and bring our guests up, Jason. We got some wonderful young ladies. They're looking good in here. We're going to make sure they act good.
Well, let me. I'd like for them to actually. I think the person of contact, the main lady in charge right now. Let her go ahead and introduce the ladies, young lady she is born on her team here today, and tell us why you guys are here and why this month is important.
All right. Well, thank you for having us. My name is Alicia Green-Sykes, and I'm just the biggest mouthpiece on this team. We have Terry Thornton and Hazel Turner. Both of them, they play a huge part in our nonprofit work that we do. So the name of our profit is the Autistic Intellect Nonprofit Corporation. It is a long name because it is an unforgettable name. We want to leave a mark.
Okay. And so, you introduce everybody?
Yes.
Let me say something about this. Come on. Let's turn somebody around.
I want to know the background and everything.
Well, I'm Hazel Turner. I am the
to Alicia. Basically, when she came up with the idea of doing something for autism, her first mark was to come back on Hazel. So we collaborated together along with Terry, and we came up with this nonprofit organization.
Hold on, you were her auntie?
Yes, I am.
You must be the baby sister. And you must be the oldest sister's child, and you the baby sister.
I hate to just wear names.
Well, yeah, I am a retiree myself, so
Okay.
I have time to help
Okay.
assist with their projects. So they come up.
But yeah, she is the baby.
Okay, I'm Terry Thornton, and a retired educator, 28 years. And Alicia, we've been friends for quite some time. So we actually met in a school. So we've had that connection with education. So when she was dealing with her son and autism, and I'm being that educator, always a go-to person for friends. So in hearing her and her fight and her passion, and hearing my passion of what I wanted for kids, and especially little Black boys, like our son. I want to say our son because he's all of ours, the awesomeness, challenges. I didn't think twice about coming in and starting this nonprofit. It's for a great cause, and there's so many children in the world that are going through this in families. So that's why we're here. So Alicia may want to go in deeper on how we got started and our purposes and how the design of our shoes came. So I'm gonna let her talk a little bit more about that. But that's why I'm here, and I'm glad.
Okay.
So, like she mentioned, the idea for how it all started, it started with the shoes. You know, there's already a stigma placed on young men that look like me. And that's the first thing that people see. So now you have a young man that looks like me, and now he has a known disability. So how do we change the first impression? You know, it was always a struggle getting him dressed every morning. He likes what he likes, but at that time, you know, as a mom with a small child, you want them to dress a little certain way, right? So, you know, I wanted to dress in a certain way, but it was a struggle every morning, and I mean a struggle. So much so that he missed quite a bit of school because they're not even meltdowns. What it is it's overstimulation. So we found out that he does not like plaid. He hates plaid. And unfortunately, Granny buys a lot of plaid, you know. And so I was dressing him, you know, really nice to go into school in certain shoes he didn't like. And one morning I just got tired of fighting. So I was like,
I can relate.
yeah.
Man, that don't really get along. I need some solid color. I get confused. Okay. What natural is it? There's 7 colors in my pants. Which color is supposed to match with my shoes? You're right.
But yeah, so that was a big thing for him. So one morning I just let him pick what he wanted to pick. And, you know, I think I did good as a mom because he was what he picked out was really nice. And so I said, okay, well, let me go from there. And then I just thought about some shoes because he's so bad on shoes. He, one of the characteristics of a child with autism is a lot of, not all of them, they walk on their tiptoes. So he would grind those shoes down. And so, you know, I was just thinking, I was like, okay, well, it's something that would help him with skimming because he started to do a lot of skimming. And, you know, with shoes, our shoes are made and shipped from Italy. They have weighted bottoms. I just have a pair on today, the first pair. And then they have 3 different textures because our kids with autism, they have texture sensitivity. Okay, so he did have a share in designing those shoes. He designed them. So that it went from there, and then we got so much recognition that we were featured in Vogue Italia, and which was huge. And then from there, we just got a lot of feedback. Hey, you guys have a nonprofit, and then that's how the nonprofit came about. So with the nonprofit, what we do, what we'll be doing this Saturday, is we set parents in front of the resources that are needed that they may not be aware of. Because I've learned a lot. I don't know everything, but what I do know, I love to share. So at these information sessions, what we do, we invite people from different backgrounds. Could be a pediatrician, could be a pediatric dental person, could be a psychometrist,
could therapists, people from all backgrounds, everyone has something to offer to us as parents, even a chef, because our kids, you know, they eat certain foods. My son, he's a potato eater. It's only fries. He does not like mashed potatoes. So how can we incorporate different ideas to get them to eat healthy? So when you come to these sessions, you get all this. We provide you with notepads and snacks and things to eat because you're going to be there, and we want you to take notes. So from there, hey, this is what I need. This is what I need to ask when I go to school because he needs an IEP plan. These are things that we can ask
And for those who don't know, tell them what an IEP plan is.
So an IEP plan is an individualized education plan tailored to your child.
Very critical.
Yeah.
Because different children, even at the basic level, as y'all know, first off, hats off to anybody who take care of children. I think it's a special place in heaven for folks who take care of young folks and seniors. It's just a special place in heaven because it takes a special person to take care of young folks and seniors. But beyond that, every parent needs to know how your child learns. And they need to know how your child does not learn. Like for me, you know, I had to learn that, you know, children are visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. So I need to change how I learn so I can learn in all ways.
And that's one of the things that
and I can talk to my child based on how they learn. Because if they're visual and I'm just talking to them all the time, well, that's not going to work. They're going to get it. So you know, everybody needs to know, how does your child learn so you can teach it properly. And
as an educator coming in, and parents need to know, like when you're going to schools, and sometimes like we use the acronyms IEP. A lot of parents don't understand those technologies, those terminologies. And so we'll sometimes throw out those terms and a parent has no idea, no clue. So when you go to those meetings, we want to make sure that parents are prepared when they go. Because there is a difference. When you go to an IEP meeting, if they try to, label your child, your student as SCD, that's a significantly cognitive delay, which means your child is now on a certificate track versus a diploma track. And autistic children does not necessarily mean they have to be on a certificate track. So making sure parents know, just because you have an IEP, make sure you understand what your child is getting. And if an IEP, that's a faith. You have to make sure it's followed because it's the law. And accommodations, if my child's brain works a different way and they have to learn, that IEP should be written to make sure that child learns that way and that teacher teaches that way. And it's the law that as educators in public schools that we provide that. A lot of times parents don't know, and especially people of color. For some reason, we found that they're a lot of times intimidated about going to the schools. If you need someone to go to the schools with you and sit in an IEP meeting so that things aren't going over your head, that's the resources. That's what we want to do. We want to provide that. If you don't know the questions to ask, don't ever let them just sit your kid in the back of a classroom thinking they can't learn just because we don't know how their brain works. If we figure out how their brain works, we can teach them. I say it all the time. We try to put autistic children into our world, make them fit into our box. What if we tried to fit into theirs? What if we tried to tailor to how they think, how they learn? Because if you can figure it out, there's some brilliant individuals. Almost
definitely. Let's dial back a little bit. How could someone know or begin to find out if their child's autistic?
I'd say start with your pediatrician. I mean, that's one of the things too. And I always tell my parents when I was an educator to monitor how your kids are around other kids. If you notice at 2 years old, my baby's still speaking and the cousin over here using full sentences, that may be something to talk to your pediatrician about. If you notice that your kid doesn't like, you take them to the playground and they don't like to interact and they don't like to play, they don't like to talk. There's nothing wrong with your child, but your child is just thinking differently. Talk to a pediatrician. And I know Alicia can talk on her journey. I haven't dealt with it personally. I've just been an educator and I've witnessed how things are going. But she could definitely tell her story on how it was in making sure Austin got heat.
Yeah, so in agreement with what she said, it does, and I tell all parents, it starts with the pediatrician. Well, actually starts with you
That's right.
because you're the caregiver.
You're right.
The pediatrician only knows what you tell them and what they observe while the child is there.
Mhm.
So it's important that you pay attention to your children. I felt like I missed it. I noticed a lot of things, but and I'm gonna call it ignorance. It's okay. I'm pretty intelligent, but I was ignorant to that. I just didn't know the signs. And my husband is the one who said, "Hey, I've been doing some research. I think we need to have you tested."
Mhm.
I didn't notice, like my son, he started and nobody believed me, including on Hazel here, but I was fortunate enough to be able to catch him and record him. But he said his first words at 9 weeks old.
Wow.
I have it on video.
Wow.
So it was things like, yeah, it's kind of scary.
Mhm.
You know, I was like, oh my goodness.
Well, developing faster
Yes.
because many of our children, like I was when I was growing up, it wasn't that I didn't like school. It was just too slow.
Your brains are actually growing so fast.
That's right.
If you study the brains of an autistic, it's like the wires, they never stop.
Mhm.
And it could be just in one area. And that's how we misdiagnose. You'll find I had kids that was just so fascinated with trains to tell you the history of trains, could identify every engine part of a train, but that was it. That's all they wanted to study was trains. And I had one with dinosaurs galore, could name all of them. I can't even say them. But this kid could name them. But as far as reading a book and calling out the words and the sounds, but you wanted to maybe put him off because he couldn't pass his test.
And you're the route what stimulates a child and route all the education through. Because if you just study trains, we can start off with the tracks. In order to lay the tracks down, you got to measure it. You got to measure the distance. Okay, here's a rule. All right, and then here go fractions. But you got to know these fractions to do the tracks. Because you got to connect it all. Once you find that connector, then you can connect everything to the same vein. And they just think they're studying more about trains. But they're learning algebra and math and reading and science. It's a simple thing to do. I don't know much. I don't know much, but I know a little bit.
And it is when you're coming into education, because especially when you're talking about accountability for schools and testing, you got to make this score. A lot of times they're just stressed about a test score. And if it's not on the test, they don't want to teach it. But if that's how my brain works, and that's how I learned, that it's up to us to find ways and avenues to get them.
So, just a little bit about your event that you have coming up this weekend: time, date, location, contact information.
Well, I'll talk on that. So Saturday, this Saturday coming up at 11 a.m., we will be doing an informative session for parents. It's at the Underwood Auditorium in Florida, Mississippi. Okay. So please feel free. Any parent who wants to know more about their child, we will have different speakers there, as Alicia mentioned, that you can easily get information from in accordance to what you're needing to know about your child.
Is there a contact number?
Yeah, so the number that you can call is 601-896-5390. You can contact me directly.
Say that one more time, please.
The number is 601-896-5390.
So if someone wants to join the organization, is there like social media or Facebook, or how can they keep track and get more information?
So we do have social media. We are on Facebook. It is going to be the Autistic Intellect. And on Instagram, it is going to be the same, the Autistic Intellect. It's the Autistic Intellect.
As we journey to try to become better parents, we have to learn all these different things because it's no longer what it used to be. There's a lot more information that makes us better. You can't just continue to raise children, even though we got to go. I think some of the old school things need to come back. But there's some new school things like being sensitive to autism. That child is not just special. It's special in a special way and you can deal with it in a special way. A lot of times they just lump all the children with different, those different things. I would say different abilities, and they would lump them all into one and say that they special. Well, special is a big word, broad. You know, that child may have this kind of learning deficiency, or they may have this learning ability. They may just have different ways that they communicate, and we have to become better and broader than what we used to be. Not to abandon the old school, because I think there's some real good concepts that can add to the healthy growth of the child. My whole community raised me. Everybody, from the bus driver to the teacher to the Sunday school teacher to the superintendent of the Sunday school to the usher board, you know, to the choir, to, you know, all of that. And so, and I'm just being real. It's just amazing to me that we got children, and mine included, that don't have that level of connectivity in a personal way. You know, everybody in that circle could snatch me.
No questions asked.
No questions asked. Ready to be snatched. And just society is not at that place anymore. But just because society has changed does not mean that we should change our village. Just because society is doing other things, we still need to have a healthy, loving village for our children to grow up in. And as we work to becoming better and learning about autism, and learning about all these different things that are more prominent now, it's going to make us better.
I would say too, like as far as families, if you have an autistic child within your family, just knowing that if you're having a family gathering and my cousin is coming over who's autistic and he's a little kid, you may want to monitor the noise level in the house. And those are all things that we can do to just make sure that they're okay.
That's right.
And it's not saying we're changing the world to 50. I'm like, no, but let's make sure they're okay. Let's take care of each other. One thing I love about Austin, when he comes to my house, and they always, Austin, don't touch it. No, it's okay. He needs to see how it feels. So, and just making other family members aware that if my child comes over, don't get upset if he touches your couch. Don't get upset if he likes to touch your clock. And if it's something breakable, can you just put it up? Instead of making him feel like he has to go within himself and shut down, we have to figure out ways and make families aware of what it is and how to deal with it. Can you just turn the music down a tad bit when you're around? If that's one of the things that cause, because it's a spectrum and there's high function, low function all across. But just figuring out what that kid needs, and we're all just coming together to make sure they're all okay.
You're totally right. So, you got any parting words that you want to share with the listening audience?
Well, we just want parents to know that this is a parent event. Please come, because information is the most valuable thing that you can have when it comes to raising your kids. And there's nothing like coming, getting it for free. We like to create an environment where you can ask those questions. If you don't know what question you need to ask, then you come and you talk, and then they'll help you to get to where you're trying to go. It's a networking thing.
Like we say all the time, we want you to know your child like you know football.
Yes.
You know the down and distance, you know the college, the high school sport, you know the NFL. But you tell me you don't know that your child learns differently?
And there's an app you can put on your phone that shows you what a child at the age of 2 should be doing, what a child at 8
All those mile markers.
They're mile markers.
But folks learn
child.
the skills
Yes.
that a child needs to play Little League football.
They know that.
And they know what skills he needs to transition from Little League football to elementary football, to junior high football. You know the different skills you're going to need to go to high school football. You know the different skills you need to go to college football and to pro football. Well, we need you to have the same skills, because there's a heck of a lot more children.
Yes,
Everybody's not going to the NFL. And even if they do, they still need to learn. They need to know if they're autistic or not. They need to know. They need to know their allergies.
yes.
You keep giving a child peanut butter, he needs to learn peanut butter. You know, we need to know our children and spend a little time with them. That's all. Put the phone down. And one thing I got to stress, one of the most medicinal things in our community is dinner time.
Mm.
My daughter had a little girl come by the house a couple weeks ago. She spent the night. Next morning we got up and we sat down and we sat down and had breakfast. And the little girl was like, I'm not used to this. I was like, used to what? I said, you gonna eat at home? She's like, yeah, but we fix our plate and go to our room. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. When you sit around your table and look at your child and say, how was your day? Just 20 minutes. Dinner don't take long at all. As hungry as I am, I'm running through my food quick. 20 minutes. If you just have dinner 3 times a week, just to eyeball your child. If you can have regular conversations on a regular basis, it makes it easier to have hard conversations when hard conversations happen. It makes it easier to identify something's going on with your child. If you don't listen to me, nothing else today, have 2 things. Dinner time and bedtime can revolutionize our community. If you can sit down and do a little assessment every couple of days with your child, I would say every day, have dinner. Because you eat every day.
Absolutely.
Dinner need to be more than throwing some chicken nuggets in the back seat on the way home and then eat when you go in the house. No. Sit down, save them chicken nuggets you get to the house, and put everybody a spot there and then look at them. Say, how was your day? What's going on in math class? And you tell them about your day.
Can I add to one of the questions? Because I would ask my kid, like, how was your day? What you do today? Nothing. And I got tired of getting nothing. So I started asking the question, at what point of your day were you the happiest? And the next one, what point of the day were you the saddest? And she could figure out at what point she was the happiest and then share that with me. And then at what point were you the saddest and share that with me. Because when I asked, how you did nothing, what you do, nothing, same old, same. But it got me to deeper conversations when I asked those questions at dinner time, like you said, it's the best time.
Now, there's a price to pay.
You may not want it.
Okay. My oldest daughter, she talked to me and her grandfather about boyfriends and sex.
Well, I'm glad she said she talked to you.
I mean, I just sit back.
Too much.
I just sit back. I just listen because but that's how we were raised. That's how I was raised. That's how I was raised. You gotta pray for me, this lady Cherie, because baby, she over in Japan. Sometimes she call me on FaceTime and she talk about this going on and this going on and this going on and I'm like, oh baby. But it's a blessing that she comes to talk to me about the most deepest personal things in her life. I pray that you have the same experience with your child, Radio Lane, and your children. Your children got to be able to talk to you, because if they can't talk to you, you got children out here that feel walled off and don't think nobody care about them. I have never thought that nobody care about me. Now I may have thought that people care too much about me, but I've never thought that my parents. I was blessed to have an amazing parents, that they didn't care. But when they may grumble about changing your program about having them. They may have a problem with that. Well, they came out on they don't have any money. And the food is on the table. Where they gonna go get your food? You have no money. So since parents, if you're the one that's financing this, I got one thing I say: I do not fuss with folks I finance. I pay the cost to be the boss. Yes. If I am financing you, I ain't gonna fuss with you. I'm the one with the food. Give the money. So if all you can afford is $1 menu, don't throw the dollar bag in the back seat. Save it till you get to the house. If you don't have a table, sit on the couch. Pass the food around and eat it. I know that sounds simple and basic. And the other thing that can revolutionize our community is bedtime. When a child gets trained to go to bed at 8:30, if they're in elementary school, 9:30 if they're in junior high, and 10 o'clock if they're in high school, that means that they're going to go to sleep. Stop giving them water and sugar after 6, so they can be in the bed by 8:30. Let me tell you what's important about bedtime. Bedtime is critical because if somebody got to be in the bed by 8:30, they got to be in the tub by 8. They got to be done washing dishes by 7:30. I mean, they have to have eaten by, 7. Okay? So my point I'm trying to make is bedtime is critical because it allows the adults time to save all the adult activity to after bedtime. Until 8:30, it's about the children and the family. All the arguing, the fussing, the little bottles from the package store, all of that stuff need to happen after bedtime. Arguing about bills and figuring out stuff after 8:30. It'll stabilize our community. There's too many mixed environments happen in the home. Children need stability. Bedtime and dinner time are 2 critical things that everybody can do. Everybody can do this. The jail, the government only has one thing for your child. Lock him up. Throw away the key or send him in that pauper's grave down in Hines County. That's it. Parents, you don't need no extra money. You don't need no grant for bedtime and dinner time. I don't care if you don't have 1 meal a day. I remember sometime my mom and I, we were so poor. She used to crack a can of Viennas, and I had my few and she had her few. Over there in Forest Avenue Apartments. Okay. So whatever you got. Hey, but to God be the glory. We ain't that way no more. But my point I'm trying to make is whatever you got to eat, relegate it to 1 time a day sitting down together. And you can really change your child and your family with dinner time and bedtime. Let me give y'all some part. I talk all day. Y'all get some part about say your event again and how they can contact you.
So you want to do it on Hazel?
Then why we talk about ours?
Yeah, Hazel.
She hadn't said much, we been talking about.
So our event is next Saturday,
Okay.
11 a.m.
This Saturday.
Right, last week. It was so yes, this Saturday. And the Lowood Auditorium in Boardman City. It's at 11 a.m. So please feel free to come and hear the information that will be presented. And I have to say this for our upcoming events. We are planning, hopefully this fall, we're planning a gala to be held. So we're definitely needing the support of businesses, vendors, sponsors, even donations. So if anyone wants to actually see what events we have coming up, or any fundraiser we have coming up, please go to the Artistic Intellect Nonprofit Corporation. My niece put all these words together, so it's a tongue twister. But please go there, click on events to see the upcoming events as well as fundraisers.
And give that phone number out so people can call.
Okay. So Alicia, you want to give me one?
The number is 601-896-5390.
One more time, just stop.
601-896-5390.
Well, we appreciate y'all. We appreciate it. Welcome back anytime y'all want to come talk about the events you have going on. Because when we come to talk about children and how to be better, we're going to stop the presses. Because everybody know I can deal with the bombs and the bullets and the blood. And when it comes to babies, I come unglued. Everything to pieces. So everybody love on your children in a healthy way. Because an old African proverb says, that if the children don't feel the warmth of the village, they will burn the village down just to stay warm. And that's what you see happening right here. That's what the children are burning the village down because y'all won't have dinner time.
You can open up your home like you did.
That's it. That's right. The children are burning the village down. You see every night on TV, burning the village down
15, 16.
because nobody want to have dinner time and bedtime. That's enough of that. Let me transition on, y'all. Thanks. We look forward to y'all's event. I can't make it to this Saturday because I'm gonna be at the parade, but I'll definitely keep you posted on future events.
You guys don't have to leave. You guys stay with us.
You can just slide back. You can just slide back. You let this young man, you just slide back. Just slide your chair forward. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate them for coming by. We got another young man in the studio today, Mr. Johnny Bird of the Association of South Jackson Neighborhoods. He's not a stranger to the show. Him and the whole team out there do a wonderful job of having community events with the association. And this is the big day of the year coming up on Saturday. It is the day that Mr. Ernest Ward been selling raffle tickets for. He's been calling your phone 1,000 times to get prepared for the South Jackson Parade and Festival. Again, it's the South Jackson Parade and Festival coming up this Saturday. And today we have the Vice President of the Association, Mr. Johnny Bird. Welcome to the show, Mr. Bird.
So thank you for having me, Commissioner.
Yeah, anytime, brother.
Great to see you, boss.
Yeah,
Glad to be here.
Yeah. So tell the folks who may not know a little bit about the Association of South Jackson Neighborhoods first.
Okay, it was originally founded in 1979 as a support group for the neighborhood. It's Gene Seeley. They started off at the police department talking about issues related to safety. And it kind of morphed into what it is now. The president, Ernest Ward, who's been with the organization for the last 6 years as president, took it to the next level and made it a 501c3 nonprofit. And our objectives and goals is to see can we unify and come together with those factions that can make our community whole.
So talk about the parade and the history of the parade and what people can look forward to.
Okay, this is our fifth South Jackson Parade and Festival. The previous one, we started off great and then kind of fizzled because of COVID and whatever. Now it's back again, and it's bigger and better. We're asking for anyone that wants to still, even though it's going to be Saturday, we still got a little room to work with, that want to become a participant. We have all the bands locked in. All the Jackson's public schools, high schools, and junior high schools are locked in except for one school. And that is 833. I'm not sure why they're not there, but everybody.
Come on, 833. I don't see all that out there. Come on, Lanier.
Okay, but everyone else is there. And the anchor band is one that everyone in Jackson is familiar with.
Okay.
They just played the halftime at the Super Bowl.
Yes, they did.
Okay.
It's D.I. Love, Jackson State, Sonic Boom of the South. We invited the other universities to attend, but according to them, there's a cost restraints because of transportation. They wanted more money than we had. But at this moment, as a 501c3. We're going to keep on until we get them there next year.
Okay.
We're not going to give in or give up just yet because it's all about our children. I was heartfelt on the guest you all just had him. Mr. Stamps kind of grew up the same way I did, a little country town. Mom and dad may have had me, but the community raised me.
That's right.
Matter of fact, we just celebrated our mom's 91st birthday this past weekend. All of us got together, give her flowers where she can have it.
That's right.
That was one reason what we're doing is ASJAN, Association of South Jackson Neighborhoods. We are a collective of all the neighborhoods. We're asking each neighborhood, that South Jackson represents four wards, wards 4, 5, 6, and parts of 7. To all the churches, civic organizations, mom and pop shops, people that have a positive business model they're trying to get out. This is the greatest avenue to have that event because we're responsible. So everything's out there, still wrong. We want to be a participant. Even if you want to be in the parade. Parade lineup starting at 7:30. Parade starting on time.
That's right.
Let me say this again to people in Jackson. On time at 9 o'clock. And it's going to end at Cadoza Middle School. One of the great things this year, we partnered up. We have anywhere between 40 to 60 different vendors. Dr. Blake, who is the current principal at Cadoz Middle School, is having a health fair for ninth graders.
Mm-hmm.
He has over 15 different groups that show them career paths at ninth grade.
Mm-hmm.
AMR is going to have the helicopter. We're going to do a mock accident for impaired driving, which includes drinking, smoking, marijuana, whatever case they do to make you impaired. We're going to have a full-on, show you what happens once you drive an impaired accident there. The bands will be competing for a monetary prize. There's a $500 prize to the winning high school band and a $250 prize to the junior high school band. And we invited all the colleges admissions clerks there from Mississippi Valley, Alcorn, and Jackson State. They will be out there to offer scholarships, offer opportunity to everyone else out there. The city of Jackson is going to have a booth out there offering job opportunities. And so is the mental health, social workers club, abortion hotlines, anything, everything that's in our community that we need to make us whole again. All the politicians is out there invited, especially those who give in to run this year. What better platform than now to have one of the largest venues in the South Jackson area to come out and let people hear and see you and meet you.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I appreciate the work you do. I appreciate Mr. Ward, and I appreciate everybody for the work they're doing out there, because if it wasn't, I'm thinking, what if there wasn't an ad? What if Johnny Bird just got sick of folks? What if Ernest Wood just got sick of folks and submitted? But these Delta men come in strong.
Mount Bayou and Shaw, Mississippi.
Mount Bayou and Shaw, Mississippi are heading up this, but they're bringing that old school accountability, that timeless love. How about the rest? I ain't studying. There you go. Hey, I tell folks all the time, I don't like Ernest Wood. I love him. I love him because he loves us through our foolishness. And he's determined to push it through and to not to fall on his watch. And so we need more folks like that. But more importantly, if you are in any kind of leadership role, you need to participate in these community functions, because you can't just show up during election time to get elected. And it's not just elected people's responsibility to lead, but you just can't show up. You have to show up all the time. And this is one of those events that is good for the community. Before it, there was no kind of self-esteem or pride for South Jackson on an annual basis to celebrate the good part of us. There was only the 6 o'clock news that talks about the bad part. And so the work that's been done to build the organization up and to highlight the good people who are doing good work. And that's what ASJAN does. So I appreciate it. So if folks want to learn more about ASJAN, where would they go?
Before I give that information, I'm going to give a shout out and my big thoughts to the two people that we're in the room with. But most people don't know, our great commissioner is very consistent in his due diligence to helping others. But I admit me, now you talk about ASJAN, you lead by example. This young man, although I'm here, special our commissioner, since I have met him in day one, he's not only proven that he can do the job, but he's consistent at doing the job and the work. And he's an asset, both of them. He and Jason have not only just talked that talk, but they walk their walk. And he just said about how elected officials and those so-called leaders, they just show up during election time. Now, before I say, I'm gonna just, ASJAN is a nonprofit. You can't endorse anyone, but once you get it off, we got to hold you accountable. I got to give 110% to our commissioner, whose every position he's ever had. If you call, he called back. He's never been too busy or too important to not to come back to give back to those who put him where he is. I'm gonna say this again, people, especially throughout the whole listening word. This young man has earned my admiration, and not only just mine, but everybody he served, because he is a servant. He's not doing it for the titles. He sure wasn't doing it for the money. I listen to you all the time. That's that country part coming out there. When you are a leader, you lead. You don't lead from behind. You don't lead on the side. You don't do photo ops.
Yeah, front, baby.
You don't show up only when it's necessary or convenient. You show up because you're needed. That's what servants are. Now, back to my original speech. This Saturday at 7:30, we would like for all those who are going to participate in this year's parade to show up at the parking lot of the Little Caesars and come in on the McDowell Road extension. And show all the bands and participants, 7:30. At 8 o'clock, we need to have a good lineup. We have a good person out there going to be facilitating it. You may know him. He's Dr. Ricky Thickpen of Visit Jackson. So we're not just making this a South Jackson thing. We're trying to make this a statewide, let's come to Jackson and let's all have a good time. Even though we are Association of South Jackson Neighborhood, we can't have one part of the body without the whole body. We're asking all of Jackson, all 7 wards to come out and participate and bring your children and your family. It's good, clean fun. We are having a gospel rap group back here, folks. You name it, we're going to have it out there to make our community whole. The parade starts at 9. The band going to go and going to stop and get judged like they did last year, then move on. If you're coming on campus to participate in any functions, come in on the first or last entrance, not the middle, and park on the back. Again, don't try to come in and get in the way of the bands and the vendors, because we have food trucks, a kids zone. We're going to be doing this simulated accident thing. The helicopter's going to be out there. The space jump. We're going to have planning for everybody, including the special needs and everyone else. When he was talking about ASJAN, ASJAN came in possession of some learning aids, which we took care of all the feeder patterns in South Jackson, feeder schools from Forest Hill and Wingfield. We had enough stuff that I took care of Itabena schools. We had enough stuff that I took care of all the schools in Ruleville, Mississippi. Had enough stuff that we took care of all the schools in Shaw, in a learning center in Shaw, Mississippi. So again, folks, ASJAN, even though we're Association of South Jackson Neighborhoods, we're looking out for solutions.
I know we only got 4 minutes left to go on the show, but you just brought a good point. And you do the same model we do.
Yes, yep.
If you around here and you got extra, the crumbs off the table here in Central Mississippi, on Hines County or in Jackson, are gold nuggets in other parts of Mississippi.
You just don't know.
Okay, so don't just. That means if you had enough left over, that means you didn't give. You gave out just what was needed when you give out stuff here in Jackson. But then you say, okay, we got some extra. Let me take this over here, and I'm gonna go to this school and this school, this school. Don't just hoard all of the resources in the storehouse. Whether you be a church, community group, or even your own personal house. Don't just hoard all the resources. Just take what you need, and then take what you need to help the folks you help right here, and go help other people. You know, just because you got 10 things and you may have 5 people here to help, don't give those 5 people 2. Take that one and go help somebody else. There you go. You know, be a little stewardship, put a little stewardship into it. I know I can talk about that all day. Jason, part word.
Commissioner, I would use like 1 more minute. You can touch a little bit about the government a little bit before we get our
all right. No matter what you're governing, we have to govern better. Whether it be your own personal self, you must govern you better. You must govern your house better. Then it goes to your block. Then it goes to your neighborhood. Like, you should have everybody on your street phone number. And know their name. Then to your neighborhood, we have to govern better and not emotional, but actually make decisions. And that means that you are always going to be liked. All these years, y'all heard me talk about what needs to happen to fix the water system in Jackson. That ain't popular. Well, I'm going to tell you what needs to happen. You lie to you? It's okay if people are not your friend because you told them the truth. Yeah, they don't need to be your friend. I'm telling you the truth. And that's what I love about Mr. Ernest Ward. You might not like what he got to say, but he ain't never lied to you. He ain't never stole no money from you. Okay? And the same thing, if you want to stand up in this day and time, this is not about a popularity contest. This is about doing what needs to be done, and some of the things that need to be said have to be said in the spirit of unity and excellence. And it goes all the way up to our neighborhood association, to our ward, and then it goes to your city council or your board of aldermen. And then it goes to your city as a whole. I use the same formula from a individual person to my house, to my neighborhood association, to my ward, to my house district, and now to the state of Mississippi district. The same formula. It ain't no different formula, ain't no special to do. It's the exact same formula. Just do what you're supposed to do. And if folks don't like it, that's on them. I ain't here for the folks who like it. So do what you're supposed to do, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget our underwriters. Underwriters for today's show, Mr. Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan Transportation Service, and Stamp SuperBurgers. Go on over and get you the whole cow between two pieces of bread that's tasted to the last drop. And never let anybody put you in a position where you don't love your own people. When you hate your own folks, you're the very oppression. We're trying to lift ourselves out of it. I love you, Jackson. I love you, Mississippi. Lady Cherie, get us out of here, baby.
Be safe out there.